On August 1st, T4, this is Bitcoin TV's. I'm Michael, greeting everyone from New York. Let's first look at the key data from the past 24 hours in the crypto world. Over the past week, Bitcoin has been extremely volatile, jumping up and down. This is its original sin, right? Let's take a look at the URPDD indicator for Bitcoin's realized price distribution. On July 25th, Bitcoin's price was above $65,000 USD. At that time, short-term holdings were mainly concentrated in the $64,000 to $66,000 USD range. Especially in the $64,000 USD range, there are 483,000 Bitcoins accumulated. And today, the latest data from URPD indicates that after Bitcoin fell back from $65,000 USD to the $64,000 USD range, the overall price change was minimal. However, the amount of Bitcoin accumulated above $66,000 USD exceeds 1.098 million units. Bitcoin saw an increase of 203,000 units this week, and most of these units come from short-term profit-taking and the Mt. Gox compensation coins, and they are all profit-taking coins. This market has caused extreme short-term selling pressure. However, from a long-term perspective, we can see that the selling pressure from low-cost holdings is significantly weakening. In other words, there are fewer and fewer profitable holdings below $64,000 USD. The average holding cost in the market has been effectively increasing, which is very favorable for a subsequent rebound in Bitcoin prices. After all, if Bitcoin continues to decline, investors with holding costs above $66,000 USD will likely consider averaging down and buying the dip. After the approval of the Ethereum spot ETF, let's take a look at the Bitcoin spot ETF. The day before yesterday, there was a slight outflow of $18.3 million USD, and yesterday there was a net outflow of $38.7 million USD. Among the 10 Bitcoin ETFs, only BlackRock's IBIT maintained a net inflow trend. What does this indicate? It clearly shows that market buying interest is weakening. Looking at the Ethereum spot ETF, there was a cumulative net inflow of $146.8 billion USD over 3 days. From the capital flow trends, we can see that the selling pressure is clearly easing. There are two reasons for this. Currently, the price is falling. Secondly, the selling pressure from grayscale is also continuously weakening. However, the selling pressure from grayscale often correlates with the coin price. If the selling pressure decreases when the coin price is high, there is a significant possibility that Ethereum will have a substantial rebound. But during the price decline, we need to be cautious of grayscale, as they might be holding their coins and observing. If the price rebounds, the selling pressure from grayscale could potentially increase significantly. In March, Bitcoin reached a new all-time high. After breaking the previous high, Bitcoin's seller risk ratio once surged to a high of 0.75%, mainly because the market investors were in a profit-taking phase after the breakthrough. From March onwards, the seller risk ratio began to decline significantly. And as of July 31st, this ratio had dropped to 0.152%. The short-term market's profit-taking has clearly weakened. At the same time, the current price does not offer significant profits or losses for short-term investors. Basically, it is still in a balanced range between $60,000 and $70,000 USD. Moving forward, we need to be cautious that the bull market's selling range should at least reach the historical high of $73,000 USD. Additionally, during the recent downturn, the seller risk ratio has also significantly rebounded, with the price range roughly below $56,000 USD. Therefore, we need to be cautious, as falling below $56,000 USD could trigger panic selling. Alright, let's continue discussing why Bitcoin can solve the United States debt problem. Just how severe is the United States debt issue? You can check the United States Department of the Treasury's website for the latest data. The most recent figures show that the federal government's debt has surpassed the $35 trillion mark for the first time, which has raised concerns about the health of the United States economy. To put this amount into perspective, it is equivalent to the combined economic size of China, Germany, Japan, India, and the United Kingdom. So what does this mean? For example, if these debts were distributed among every United States citizen, it would mean each person would owe $104,000. And that's not all. According to the United States Congressional Budget Office, with the increase in interest expenses surpassing tax revenue, by 2034, the United States national debt will reach $56 trillion. So the United States might actually go bankrupt. This isn't something I said. It's the latest assessment from the world's richest man, Musk, in light of the United States debt. With so much debt, how exactly will it be resolved?
Just yesterday, crypto-friendly U.S. Senator Cynthia Lummis proposed on the X platform that the U.S. national debt has reached $35 trillion, and only the Bitcoin strategic reserve can stop this runaway train. There are many people who think so. TurboFish CEO Matt Bell has also said that the ever-expanding U.S. debt may enhance the adoption of Bitcoin and its status as a safe haven asset. Trading company GSR co-founder Rich Rosenblum said that unlike other times in history, sovereigns and investors now have the opportunity to buy cryptocurrencies to hedge against these pressures.
And I think the United States may in the future look at Bitcoin as a true reserve asset.
The logic of traditional finance is to continuously issue new debt to pay off old debt, raise interest rates to pull back liquidity, and lower interest rates to release liquidity again. However, in this cycle of pulling back and releasing, the amount you need to pull back will keep increasing. It's like adding more water when there's too much dough, and adding more dough when there's too much water, until the bowl can't hold it anymore, and you end up breaking the bowl. Some analysts have pointed out that the United States debt is out of control, because in the context of the presidential election, neither party will call for a halt to issuing debt due to political consideration. Therefore, it is even less likely that they will introduce measures to continuously cut spending and control debt policy. So, it's important to understand that when a country's debt level is too high, it not only leads to inflation but also affects the purchasing power of its currency. The devaluation of the currency, without a doubt, will weaken the confidence of all fiat currency holders. Naturally, everyone will choose more stable and value-preserving assets to hedge against risks, such as gold or digital gold, like Bitcoin. Now, here's a question for everyone. Do you think the United States national debt will drive Bitcoin prices to new historical highs? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Alright, welcome back. This is Bitcoin TV Chinese channel and I'm Michael. Everyone is now eagerly waiting to see when the Federal Reserve will cut rates, because once they do, liquidity will be ample. And with the flood of money, not only will cryptocurrency prices rise, but many projects will also come pouring in. People can use the influx of money to invest in other projects and make a substantial profit. The current overall situation is that since last year, the Federal Reserve has been raising rates under very high interest rate records, increasing them to 5.25 to 5.5, which is the highest in 20 years. The Federal Reserve has reached its highest interest rate position. However, recently, everyone has noticed the slowdown in the United States economy and employment index, along with the enormous debt pressure from US bonds. People are predicting that the Federal Reserve is very likely to start cutting rates and distributing dividends in September this year. Therefore, we must pay attention to the upcoming Federal Reserve interest rate meeting.
Recently, Fed Chairman Powell said at a press conference on the federal funds rate policy released by the Federal Reserve that the second quarter inflation data increased the Fed's confidence in achieving 2%. The Fed has made some further progress toward its inflation goal and could move to a 5-year high as early as next year if inflation tests are met. 9. Powell also hinted at a rate cut in response to questions. 50. The possibility of a basis point is not high.
So, judging from Powell's tone, it seems like a rate cut in September is almost a certainty. When this was mentioned, it almost won unanimous approval from all Federal Open Market Committee members. Now, with 30 days left until September, we have two very important data points to watch. One is the non-farm payroll report, and the other is the consumer price index data. As long as there are no major surprises in these two data points, we can fully expect a rate cut in September. What is particularly noteworthy is that in this meeting, the employment index was highlighted to an unprecedented level, which is now on par with the long-term inflation target. Therefore, it seems that the Federal Reserve's next step in measuring targets besides the consumer price index will also depend on whether the employment index can continue to improve. Everyone can look forward to September. Alright, let's take another look at Ethereum. After the launch of the Ethereum spot ETF, not only did the price not increase, it kept dropping. The highest it reached was $3,400 USD, and the lowest it fell to was around $3,200 USD. What caused the drop? One reason is that the positive news turned into negative sentiment, and another is that Grayscale has been continuously selling Ethereum. The market in July ultimately closed with a 1% loss. As of today, the US spot Ethereum ETF has been listed for 10 days. The market's reaction seems to be unfavorable, with the price dropping by 9%. In comparison, the price of Ethereum only fell by 4.05%. Besides this, what other factors are hindering the rise of Ethereum? Let's analyze this.
According to Soso Value, the overall data of ETFs is disappointing, with a total cumulative net inflow of negative $439.64 million. Most of the selling pressure is mainly on Grayscale. As of July 29th, all other major spot Ethereum ETFs, including BlackRock, Bitwise, and Fidelity, recorded daily positive inflows. Ethereum's exchange withdrawal volume has fallen sharply since March. Independent analyst Crypto Lion said this indicator is highly correlated with price, indicating that there is no demand at all. At the same time, almost all ETFs have generated inflows, with the exception of Grayscale's ETH, which saw a net outflow of more than $1.5 billion last week alone, resulting in a total net outflow of $341.8 million for U.S. spot Ethereum ETFs.
Actually, when it comes to the price of Ethereum, there's no need to rush. If you look at the top 100 tokens, you'll see how many are Ethereum-based ERC20 tokens, and you'll understand that Ethereum is still the king of public blockchains. However, we can take a look at the Coinbase Premium Index, which offers some hints. In the second quarter of this year, the Coinbase Premium Index for Ethereum has been declining. After reaching an all-time high in March, similar to Ethereum, it is now in negative territory. What does that negative value indicate? It shows that American investors have at least weak purchasing power and the demand for spot is not very high. In May of this year, there was a potential approval boost for the Ethereum ETF, which led to a surge in buying volume and a bullish price trend. So, what is Ethereum lacking now? It lacks time to prove its status as the king of public blockchains. Alright, finally, let's look at OK Express. We need to tell you that if you have these two types of people around you, you should stay away from them because they won't achieve anything significant and might even become a burden to you. The first type is the timid person. When you tell them to do this or that, they can immediately list 10 reasons why it's impossible. They only see the negative. This kind of mindset cannot see opportunities. Anyone who wants to get things done thinks about solutions, methods, and strategies. The second type of person is the lazy person. This kind of person lacks execution ability, looks down on everything, and is afraid of losing face by doing this or thinks that doing that doesn't pay enough. On the first level, people see that he has no ideas. On the second level, he lacks execution ability. And if we go deeper to a third level, he lacks innovative spirit. Actually, we can reflect on ourselves in this way too. If you have an idea and want to do something, then act on it once you think of it. If you don't know how, then learn. When you encounter problems, think of solutions. This is how you can get closer to success. What do you think? Here are all the benefits for our members. We hope you can become our member, which will help us make the channel more professional. We also hope to lead all our member friends to gradually become wealthier in this bull market, increasing our Bitcoin holdings. See you tomorrow.